Hi, and welcome to the podcast All of the World. My name is Daniela, and as always, we have prepared an interesting topic that can help us daily: how to promote a positive coexistence in various scenarios. There are three experts in the term with us. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Of course. Hi, my name is Erika, a specialist in psychologist.
Hi, I'm Marco, analyst in positive thinking.
Hi, my name is Carlos, a specialist in anthropologist.
Okay, we are so excited to have you here. So, first question: how to deal with cultural differences?
These are some of tactics to socialize with people from other culture. For example, approaching people who are different from you to meet different ideas.
Another tactic is to recognize your blind spot to improve.
Also, overcome language and cultural barriers. Us, both telling and showing methods of training. Simplify your training methods, particularly those that really heavily and telling versus showing. And use repetition as with any new concept, most people don't learn something that first time they hear it.
Oh, okay, that's actually so useful. Another question: when someone finds himself in an environment that makes him uncomfortable, what is better? Walking away or trying to adapt?
We must consider when we feel uncomfortable because we are in an environment that can harm us or it's for fear or being accepted. In the case that is the second, we must try to lose our fear and learn from others.
Yes, recently I present a study that affirms that in most cases the little acceptances of other cultures is derived from emotions such as fear, envy, contempt, etc. But the moment you break these barriers, you have a better acceptances.
Oh, that's great. That many times we put up the barriers ourselves. I would also like to know how to promote the acceptance of people in this topic.
Oh, well, we are currently proposing collaborative work in schools so that they learn different ways of working and socializing, which definitely helps them develop better in new environments.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, following the three techniques helps students to identify their failures and attack them. In this way, you open your mind to new ideas, respecting those of others and not in invasive way as usually happens.
Yes, I totally understand what you tell me. I can even say that in this program, I have come to use these techniques in some ways because my jobs are interviews, so I need to come prepared and open to any situation or cultural barrier that arises during an interview. And talking about myself, this is another more personal question. When I am in an interview and I mention something that does not seem to the person I'm interviewing, what can I do?
Well, the first and easiest thing to do is apologize and ask the other person what they think. Ignoring the problem is not always the right thing to do, since it can generate dissatisfaction in the person, and in your case, that can really affect the interview.
A ver, okay, so how can I deal with my feelings when I have a situation with a person from a minority group when they are rejected or left out?
Well, in these specific cases, the unique form to face problematic situations, you need to have initiative and do the first step. And remember, you are the only one that can control your own emotions, good or bad.
So, I know that you all work with spotting catastrophic thinking with your patients and in your research. What can you tell me?
Oh, there's a skill that everyone has and often uses in the wrong place. This skill is to dispute. In optimism programs, we first teach people to recognize the catastrophic things they tell themselves. For example, we often say, "No one is going to like me at this party. I never have fun at parties." So we teach them first to treat it as if it were said by an outside person whose mission in life is to make them miserable. Then, to dispute it in the same way that they will with an external person.
When you say these things to yourself, you treat them as if they were true. We generally have the skills of disputing other people when they make false accusations. And we can learn to do so with ourselves as well. That's the central skill in both cognitive therapy and learning optimism training.
Okay, I understand. It is very important to avoid self-sabotage and to be able to make decisions that improve the quality of our lives. It is a new concept for me because our generation was not taught it. So my question is, at what age can a person be taught these skills?
We start at about age 10.
Okay, but recognizing that there is no quick fix, what would you advise as a starting point?
My first advice is to make some assessment of whether or not you are a pessimist. There are a set of tests which people can take rather easily to decide that it is not transparent to yourself. Then, if you are, the nutshell advice is to learn the disputing skills.
Have you then thought yourself to be an optimist?
I think only a pessimist can write and do serious stuff about optimism. The skills I talk about I use every day.
What I have become is what I call a flexible optimist. I recognize the situation which call for optimism and the situation which don't call for optimism need a mercilessly realistic view of what's going to happen.
And what about you, Marco? When you look at the world as it is, with so many negative stories, do you find optimism difficult?
Not really. Surprising that we have very high levels of depression and pessimism in a world where we have greater access to information and resources. If we learn to control our thoughts, we can improve the quality of our lives.
Interesting. We have run out of time, but without a doubt, we need you to come back so you can tell us more. Thank you very much for your time.